Welcome in to I Remember My First Time.
Oh,
don't be nasty. Not that first time, Jacob.
damn it.
This is a podcast about cinematic awakenings,
Well, I like the sound of that.
where we talk about the movies we love with someone who just popped their cherry to that movie.
This week, the movie is The Batman. Matt Reeves, directed by Matt Reeves, starring Robert Pattinson. And I'm the virgin here. Though all of us were very recently virgins.
Yeah, the movie's only been out for 3 months.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Y'all saw it in theaters, I didn't. That was the difference.
Jacob, are all the movies we do on this podcast going to be good movies?
God, fuck, I hope not.
Do you like shitty movies?
I love the fuck out of shitty movies. Sometimes even more than good movies.
Are we critics?
Absolutely not.
But do we love the shit out of
We
movies?
fucking love the shit out of movies.
What the hell is this? Good podcast, batshit podcast? Coming up, we talk about the latest release in the Batman franchise, the oddly titled The Batman.
You are obsessed with the in front of this Batman.
I am the BJ Lycka, joined always by the Jacob Ekus.
That's me.
We have a special guest on with us today. We have a hookah aficionado, a yoga pant aficionado, someone who loves comic book canon so much she has seen every episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.,
That's a doozy.
the real superhero of this show for pushing 2 of my offspring out of her body, my wife, Ranyah Lycka.
Hi, guys.
And we got Ranyah on the show.
Yes.
Woo.
And for a good movie. Initially it was going to be a shitty movie for you.
Your work bailed you out, and we had to call on your brother to watch.
Batman and Robin.
Mm-hmm.
So you got a good movie.
Yeah, boy, am I glad.
Yeah. Batman and Robin was so bad.
So, before we get started here, Ranyah, I already mentioned how much you love comic book movies and shows. Why don't you tell us a little more about your favorite comic book movies, shows, kind of what you think about movies in general?
I can't say that I'm like an aficionado or anything like that. I just have always liked comics and action series, and I've always loved the animated shows growing up. It's like what I would rush to watch when I got home from school.
You became an aficionado when you watched every episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Everything else prepped you for that moment. I become an aficionado.
I can't imagine there's a lot of people in the world that have seen every episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
When BJ told me you saw every episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and you're telling us now that you grew up watching the animated whatever, that doesn't surprise me at all. I'm like, yep, of course you did. Of course.
No,
So I would
love
argue our aficionado for sure.
I'm assuming animated Batman is kind of what you grew up on in terms of Batman?
Yeah, a lot of them. Animated Batman, like there's Batman, what's the Batman series where Batman's older and he's got like a younger Batman?
Justice League?
Oh, I'd have to look that one up.
Okay.
But there's just a whole bunch of them.
Just all the animated Batmans.
All of the animated
in the
Batmans.
movies. Love that. I've never been big into comic movies. We got into that last week when your brother was here, but I love Batman. I've always loved Batman, and I probably like Batman movies so much because they're the most grounded out of all superhero movies. It's just a dude in a suit. He can get his ass kicked.
A rich dude.
A rich dude.
But a dude nonetheless.
Yeah, it's not Iron Man's suit.
Sure.
It's not the same thing. No.
It's funny how like half of them are either super powered or they're a normal dude, but they happen to be billionaires.
Yeah. And I have a hard time rooting for, not a hard time, I love rooting for the bad guys and the villains. And Batman has such great villains that I've always just been into Batman. Yeah, that's me in comic movies. And I love X-Men too.
Yeah,
X-Men's
great.
fucking dope.
X-Men's so fun.
And I've out of the entire Marvel cinematic universe, I've probably seen 3 movies.
That's it?
That's it.
Wow.
Yeah.
A lot catching up to do.
I love the Punisher TV series,
That's good.
but I love violence.
You
Shit
made
gets
your
my dick hard.
You made your Ranyah, you made your way through all of the Netflix and CW shows as well, right?
Yeah, probably most of them.
Like Smallville, is that what you're talking about?
No, the more recent ones: Green Arrow, Flash,
Okay.
Supergirl, and then Netflix had
Legends,
the Luke Cage, Iron Fist,
The
Daredevil.
Yeah,
Daredevil, all that. Yeah.
Jessica Jones.
Jessica Jones is
Yeah.
amazing. Yep.
What'd you think of this movie?
I mean, I love this movie.
Great.
But I'm hard pressed to find like a comic book movie that I didn't like.
Yeah, but you loved this one.
I did love it.
Okay. Is this your favorite Batman movie?
I want to say it is actually my favorite Batman movie.
What was your favorite Batman movie before this?
It's between probably Batman Begins or Dark
The Dark
Knight.
Knight,
Yeah,
The
that's
Dark Knight.
pretty.
That's kind of what I thought. My favorite right now is Batman Begins. I'm about to rewatch the Trolling series with my girlfriend, so maybe it'll change, but I'll get into how I felt about this movie later.
I can't say that I truly remember the older Batmans.
Yeah.
Like
With
I
Jack
don't
Nicholson,
remember.
Michael
Yeah, I don't
Keaton,
remember
yeah.
them.
I've seen them, but I don't remember anything.
I don't really either. I know Jack Nicholson, and I can imagine he was a dope-ass Joker.
Sure.
I've seen enough of his movies to know that he killed it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's about all I know.
Yeah, same.
And Danny DeVito, because I love anything Danny DeVito does. Because why the fuck not? He was in a movie called Twins with Arnold Schwarzenegger. I fucking love Danny DeVito.
So
he was Batman villain right before Arnold.
Yeah.
the one that you guys just watched most recently was Batman and Robin. Is that the one that also had a Riddler? That was like
no, that
goofy?
was I thought the same thing too.
No.
That one's Batman Forever, and that has Tommy Lee Jones as Two-Face and Jim Carrey as the Riddler.
Okay.
And Batman and Robin, Arnold Schwarzenegger's Mr. Freeze, and Uma Thurman's Poison Ivy.
And
That's
Uma
it.
Thurman is awesome in
She
it.
fucking kills it.
On to the Batman. Directed by Matt Reeves, Robert Pattinson's first forego as the Caped Crusader. Described by IMDb as when a sadistic serial killer begins murdering key political figures in Gotham, Batman is forced to investigate the city's hidden corruption and question his own family's involvement.
That's IMDb.
IMDb.
They don't normally kill it, but it seems like on new movies where people haven't had the chance to put their own shit on it, IMDb kills it on the movie summaries.
Yeah, HBO's was surprisingly a little disappointing this week, so
Yeah.
I went with the IMDb one.
Yeah.
I like the way that one flowed. Now, this movie has actually really good ratings. On IMDb, I believe this is the highest IMDb rated movie we've done to date. It is an 8 out of 10. 85% on Rotten Tomatoes and 72% Metacritic score. Which,
Wow.
again, a 72% Metacritic score is a pretty good movie.
Yeah.
The critics are critical, let's say.
Brandon, that was funny.
That was a pity laugh.
But it was a nice funny.
Now, speaking of critics, obviously, Roger Ebert not around to review this movie.
What? He died?
Yes, he's no longer with us. He died like 9 years ago, Jacob.
I'm just kidding. I know that. I think I'm the one that told you that. I was like, did you look at the Roger Ebert website? And you're like, that's a thing? I'm like, yeah, they still try to do it like he did it.
And they did. And they did I think, a pretty good job. It's written very much in the tone of Roger Ebert. So I'm not going to count this to your overall score on guessing Roger Ebert.
Which is currently 4-2.
But this was Christy Lemire.
And I'm going to say they liked it, because I'm still going to guess.
3.5 out of 4 stars.
Of course.
She was amazed by how much it took from other movies without feeling like a copycat movie.
Okay.
She enjoyed the fact that it was not really a superhero movie. It was a detective who happened to be dressed like a bat.
I think that's the reason my girlfriend liked it so much.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
It was a straight detective movie. You got that aspect of the Batman.
You see more than it's
I
more
beat
than
people
the
up.
Crusader.
Yeah, like he's smart.
Now, despite that review being so good, there were some that weren't as good.
Of course, for every movie.
And I think you can tell this is a good movie because the bad reviews weren't
They have
all
shit
that.
to say about it.
They weren't all that entertaining, though.
Okay.
So I chose this one from the San Francisco Chronicle. I chose it mainly because of the title of this article.
Okay.
Robert Pattinson is a big mopey stiff as the Batman.
Love it. Okay. Already great.
That was the title of it. The rest of it wasn't really great. He also mentioned in this movie the lack of chemistry between Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman and Robert Pattinson?
I thought they had a lot of chemistry.
I did too.
Well, they had a ton of chemistry.
So the only thing I can think of why he didn't think there was chemistry, kissing scenes were kind of weak. And I don't know if that's Kravitz, I don't know if it's Pattinson. Ranyah, you saw the Twilight movies. Was he a bad on-screen kisser in the Twilight series?
I would have described him as a stiff also in the Twilight movies.
Oh, man. Does he play any part in Kristen Stewart being gay now?
He's so bad after that movie. Kristen Stewart was like,
I'm out.
You know what?
No, don't want that.
I may just go play with the other team. Jacob, we know what the critics thought. We know what the audiences thought. How did this movie do in the post-COVID box office?
It did great in the post-COVID box office. The budget first off was $185 million. So not horrible for today's standards.
I believe that was less than Batman and Robin.
A lot less, I think. The opening weekend, what do you think? So $185 million. What do you think the opening weekend was, BJ?
75.
$134 million.
Whoa.
Wow.
Worldwide gross brought in $767 million.
Big time moneymaker.
Almost $1 billion. That close.
Jacob, you being the virgin, give us your review on The Batman.
I really liked it. After you watched it, you said you might like it more than The Dark Knight, and The Dark Knight is almost perfect for me. Like we touched on last week, as I've rewatched it, I get bored with a lot of the stuff that's not the Joker when he's not in the movie. My favorite Batman movie, and still is Batman Begins. Because I'm just never bored in that movie, and it's awesome. This movie, as violent as I could have wanted it, more violent than any of Nolan's movies, and I love violence. Fucking love violence. My favorite villain was the Penguin, and he was a secondary villain because it was the Riddler was the main villain.
I may even call him a tertiary villain because I might have Carmine Falcone. Falcone or Falcone?
It's Falcone.
Okay.
It's Falcone.
Okay.
Yeah. No, you're right. So he's even a tertiary villain, and he was my favorite villain. I thought he had the best role. I liked his villain. Like the Riddler didn't do anything for me. The first scene, it was edge of my seat, and then after that, it was just kind of like lost it. But last night when I was rewatching my favorite scenes, I was like, oh, maybe I like the Riddler a little more. But anyways, I really liked this movie. It was violent. It was dark. I enjoyed the fact that it didn't feel like a 3-hour movie. I loved all the Bat gadgets.
You can't go wrong with Bat
None
gadgets.
of them were ridiculous. They all made sense. I loved Robert Pattinson as Batman.
Yeah, I feel like the movie was all about themes. And so, it started out in the beginning saying, like, Batman says, I am the shadows. I'm not just in the shadows, or something like that.
It's kind of the whole idea of, okay, how do you think one man can make a difference in a city this big? Well, I can't beat up everybody, but if I beat up enough, then enough people will be scared of me.
It wasn't about the Riddler as a villain, but more about, like, his crime and, like, also the fear that it caused.
Well, and the Riddler was not trying to harm Batman.
No.
Is this the first?
The Riddler also wasn't trying to harm anybody other than corrupt politicians till the end.
Right.
Which threw me off at the end of the movie. Because I was like, wait a second. Like, why are we attacking Gotham now? Because for a comic book movie, I was all about you there for a little bit. Let's get rid of the corrupt DA guy, police commissioner. I'm for this. And then you start attacking innocent civilians, and I'm just like, and again, movie wouldn't be down for this in real life.
Right.
Yeah.
In terms of a comic book movie villain, killing a corrupt mayor, a corrupt DA, and a corrupt commissioner.
With evidence, too. Like, they're clearly corrupt. I'm okay with this.
Not super villainous for a comic book movie. And then it's like, I'm going to flood the whole city, too.
Yeah. How'd you feel about Robert Pattinson's Batman?
I enjoyed it. I mean, he's not my top favorite actor, but I like this emo version of him, like people say. I didn't think of him as, like, super mopey. It just seemed like he really played that character. You know, he was messed up as a kid and kind of reclusive.
Clearly has problems, cares more about being the version of himself that's the Batman and not Bruce Wayne. So when you see Bruce Wayne, it's just this guy who doesn't give a fuck.
He just doesn't know how to handle himself.
Yeah. And doesn't care to figure out how.
Right.
How'd you like the Bat chin?
He's got a great chin.
He does have a great chin.
So your brother introduced us last week to the term Batfleck, which was Ben Affleck as Batman.
Oh.
Batfleck, yeah. It was a cool term.
That's still the best Batman chin. Pattinson might have the second best Batman chin.
Yeah. Especially with how his mask fit.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because the way it fit around his neck and his cheekbones, it was very unique. I was like, cool.
The suit did look quite a bit different from...
It did for some random reason. And how do you make a bat suit look quite a bit different? They did, and it looked really cool.
It looked really, like, technical, but not, like, army technical, like The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Yeah, because The Dark Knight had a lot of military input, technology-wise. This just kind of looked like a rich guy basically had a cool bulletproof suit. Yeah,
and then added, like, crossbows and shit that you'd imagine, like, some weird inventor from the medieval times would add on to his suit or some shit. It's kind of what it looked like. But it was fucking cool.
I was really impressed with this movie. They did something very different in grounding the Batman. It is dark. It's constantly raining. The tone, the feel of it, they did a really good job on in this movie.
Oh, the score of this movie was probably the best scored movie I've ever heard.
It was great.
Every time music
like,
came on. Yep, the Nirvana, just the beats too, like when it wasn't any vocals and like everything was fucking great.
Yeah, one of my favorite Nirvana songs from the Nevermind album that is finally getting its due 30 years later. What's the Ave Maria, the opera song that comes in back and forth? Great score, and I think that really set the tone of this movie.
Yep, and a lot of times narrating really annoys me in movies, but the Batman's, Robert Pattinson's narrating was really good. It didn't take me out of the movie at all. Not at all.
No.
If anything, it made it better.
I think it was a solid, like, A for me.
Mm-hmm.
So, Ranyah, we'll start with you right here. What are some other things that you really liked about this movie?
I liked all the visuals. I liked how they created Gotham.
It looked like New York City, but it kind of looked Europeanified. Is that a word?
I loved all the imagery of just Gotham and the city and how it was always dark. But it was always, I mean, visually very
It was
appeasing.
the first movie that I felt you could really see and feel how big the city is.
Yeah.
It did. There was a lot of big city shots up there on the top of the tower with the bat light.
Oh, I loved having the bat symbol back.
What else did you really like about it?
Yeah, I liked that they had a play on all the different villains.
Mm-hmm.
Like we got, I mean, the main big bad was obviously Riddler, but I loved Penguin. Penguin was awesome.
Oh, I didn't realize Colin Farrell was Penguin until an hour and 30 into the movie.
I didn't realize it until very recently either.
Yeah, and the only reason I looked it up was like, I know Colin Farrell's in this movie. I haven't seen this dude yet.
Yeah.
I'm halfway through this movie. I'm like, holy shit, it's this guy on the screen right now? What the fuck?
He's going for it too.
People didn't recognize him after one of the first times he was in his full getup, he went to a coffee shop and nobody recognized him. Fucking great.
That's awesome. Yeah.
But yeah, I love the Penguin. Continue.
I just thought he was funny.
Yeah.
He had so many great lines.
He was the comic relief in this movie.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
I was really waiting for him with the accent he had going on. I was really waiting for him to utter the line, "Hey, I'm walking over here."
I liked Colin Farrell's the Penguin. He was, like I said, my favorite villain. I can't get over that. But yeah, just the tone. I didn't mention that earlier, but the tone and Gotham. Gotham was fucking cool.
It was.
Yeah, I enjoyed Gotham a lot.
The vibe of this movie was strong.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really excited that Penguin's getting his own like spin-off show on HBO, but I don't know anything about it. Is it going to have similar?
Is that true?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
I don't know. She's seen every episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Whatever. I watched the Peacemaker, and I'll watch anything HBO does, no matter what. But after watching Peacemaker, I'm like, sure. Throw out another
Peacemaker was so amazing.
Throw out another comic book show, HBO. I'll fucking watch that shit.
There's several.
Yeah, I know. I'm getting around to it. I watched a ton of movies too. It's a lot. So much shit to watch. There's so much content. There's so much.
So much content out there. You'd never get through it.
So the only thing I really liked about this movie that we haven't mentioned yet is I love when comic book movies go into a genre movie. So how this one kind of went to the 70s noir detective movie. How Ant-Man is a heist movie. Winter Soldier is essentially a Jason Bourne movie. Those are my favorite things when comic book movies are like, well, let's go back to an old school genre movie right here. I really enjoyed that part of it.
Okay. I enjoy that too because it makes them feel more grounded.
I do. I agree. I like the back and forth with like the detectives and the cops and just the way he handles himself around them and the way he talks with like Gordon and.
You could give me an HBO show about just the cops, like Office style, kind of one shot talking into the camera about what they think about Batman.
Yeah. I'd be for that.
Yeah, that would be funny.
Give me an outtake reel of that.
Sure.
Yeah.
We talked about what we like. This is probably going to be pretty short, but what didn't you like, Jacob? We'll start with you.
Well, I wasn't a fan of the Riddler, and he was the main villain, and for me, Batman movies are about the villains. So the main villain not being all it for me was kind of disappointing. I don't know why. Like the first scene Riddler was in, beats the shit out of the mayor. I was like, all right, cool. And then everything else, he just didn't keep me on the edge of my seat. I was never worried about it. When I was rewatching my my Mount Rushmore scenes, I was like, maybe I like the Riddler a little bit more, but he's still my least favorite part of this movie. That was a little upsetting for me. Villains are my favorite part of Batman movies. So the fact that the main villain kind of was like lackluster for me, I was like, okay.
Well, but he actually accomplished his goal.
Oh, yeah. He did what he needed to do and wanted to do it. He never put me on the edge of my seat. And as the main villain, I felt like he should have.
Okay, I can see that. And it was different, but I really respect the choice that they went for with that.
Yeah.
Because it was a villain who was trying to befriend Batman.
Well, and I'm excited for the second movie. I'm excited for the villains. I mean, I really enjoyed the Penguin. Really enjoyed Colin Farrell. The little sneak peek of the Joker at the end of the movie, I was like, oh, fuck yes. With how dark this movie was and how violent this movie was and how much I enjoyed it, like, it can only get better.
And it was the first movie of a new series.
Yes.
So they had to lay a lot of groundwork. And they did lay a lot of groundwork, which probably took away from some of the villainous stuff.
So what I didn't like, I think, won't be a problem in upcoming movies. And what I didn't like wasn't bad enough for me to, like, I enjoyed the fuck out of this movie.
But at the end of the day, technically, until the last, 5 minutes, Riddler won. I mean, he beat Batman.
Yep.
He accomplished his goal.
But, I mean, he won. He outsmarted him.
And he even thought him and Batman were on teams.
Sure. Which is a really interesting concept.
Mm-hmm. And I wonder if I would have liked the Riddler more if he wasn't in a mask. Because I think that took away a little bit from Paul Dano. Because Paul Dano is very expressive. And, I understand why he wore the mask and why Matt Reeves chose to go in that direction. But I wonder, and I just had this thought now, I wonder if it would have made him better for me. To watch him just be balls to the wall nuts in his own facial expressions.
Ranyah?
Do you think we'll see more of him like that? I mean, now he's been unmasked.
Now that he's been unmasked, I definitely think you'll see more of him. I think he'll still wear his mask in different, depending on what's going on, but I think we'll see him without it, too.
I think we'll see him without it. I mean, I don't know, but this was basically the introduction to Batman. In his first 2 years as being Batman, he's still trying to figure himself out. It's also baby Riddler. I mean,
and
Riddler being born.
That's true.
And he hasn't, and Riddler traditionally is a fancy guy.
Is he wearing a blazer with question marks on it?
Yeah, and every other Batman, he's I'm the cool shit, man. I'm better than all of you.
So who knows where this is going to go.
Yeah, I mean, and then Joker says at the end, Gotham loves a good comeback story. So maybe he'll come back in a bowler hat and turn it.
Riddle me this, Batman.
And just fuck it up.
Yeah.
I'd be down for that because I like Paul Dano. And I wanted to like the Riddler. And like I said, after rewatching my Mount Rushmore scenes, I'm like, okay. Not as bad the first time. I'm excited to rewatch this in its entirety and not just my scenes.
Well, and I would also argue that that Batman is not a superhero yet.
Yes.
So he cannot fight a super villain yet.
Well, like, I think Ranyah was the first person to bring it up so far. Like, this is the first 2 years Batman's been Batman.
Right.
Like, it's all new.
I mean, so we've been in COVID longer than Gotham has been dealing with the Batman for this movie.
Yep.
So not a very long time.
No. People still don't understand that masks help. Like Batman's having a rough go at it.
They didn't care about me until I took off the mask, though.
Ranyah, is there anything you didn't like about this movie?
What didn't I like? I have a hard time pinpointing something specifically I didn't like.
Okay. This was just a perfect movie for you? And that's okay.
No, I mean, okay.
Quigley Down Under was a perfect movie for me, and BJ hated the soundtrack.
Yeah.
Because it was garbage.
No,
like,
sir. It was fucking amazing.
The only things that I had a hard time with certain aspects of Pattinson's, like, acting, I guess. Like, I love the Batman and the visuals and...
So Bruce Wayne is your complaint?
I mean...
Max, no.
I think he did a great job, and he had way more range in this than I think I've seen from him. But he was still kind of like that same moody, like, he has a lot of the same facial expressions. So there's that. I don't know. But I think he's grown.
The movie Matt Reeves watched, and I started it, I didn't finish it before they took it off Netflix, but the movie he watched that made him realize that he wanted Robert Pattinson as the Batman is Good Times.
Yeah. I haven't seen it.
I watched the first half of it, and it was awesome.
Does he play Jimmy JJ Dynamite Walker?
No, he plays this fucked up inner city kid who's trying to take care of his mentally ill brother, and they're both just kind of fucking nuts. And he steals his brother out of medical care. He's supposed to be there, like, shit goes down. He's been accused of murder, and it's fucking nuts.
I will say, I love that he's not what I expected a Batman to be.
Yeah.
He's not who I would have chosen or wanted initially, but I think he knocked it out of the park.
Well, we're going to get to that later. Who could we recast? I'm excited to hear who you would have wanted later.
Okay,
yeah. It's not who I wanted it to be. Okay, cool.
That means you want it to be somebody.
Yeah, that's exactly what that means.
As far as I'm concerned, nothing too major that I didn't like about the movie. A lot of things I found I might not have liked, but I kind of found interesting. For instance, the Riddler. I don't know if I liked it, but it's certainly interesting. Kind of lumping the whole city into it, getting the mayor and DA involved. Don't know if I liked it. It's very interesting. What I didn't like is I did not need Falcone to be Catwoman's father. That was absolutely a waste. I did not need that. There was no reason to throw that in.
Well, what would you have done with Catwoman?
She could have still been Catwoman, just trying to find her friend.
Okay.
I mean, who cares if that's her dad or not?
Yeah, but then you would have had to make her like, yeah, she works in the basement of the club, and she wasn't about that life.
Okay.
And that's why it was important, because she could still get down there, because I know, I'm just...
Sure, whatever. Yeah. I didn't need it.
You didn't need it?
I think it gave a good... It was a good dynamic between, like, a potential love interest of, say, this Batman, potentially, never,
Well, at the same time...
And then, like, who is this guy that, like, is giving her attention all of a sudden in the club? They clearly have history, so, I mean...
Well, and that just made me think, for some reason, like, the only reason we had the second nightclub scene and Robert Pattinson sneaking into the club without the bat suit on and then getting in it.
Third nightclub scene, is because Zoe Kravitz has enough pull to be in the private quarters with Falcone. Okay.
And without her in the private quarters with Falcone, you don't get that third nightclub scene, which is my number one honorable mention.
Well, and there is an interesting dynamic of Zoe Kravitz and Robert Pattinson both being born to rich daddies. One takes care of them, leaves him billions. The other does nothing when the Child Protective Services comes to take her away.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's a kind of an interesting contrast to look at.
We just won him over. High five.
They did my boy Jim Gordon dirty in this movie.
100% they did. Dude couldn't come up with a clue to save his goddamn life.
There's like 16 clues. Let Jim Gordon get 4 of them.
Even one.
Batman can take the other 12.
Let him have one.
Can we let Jim Gordon solve one clue?
But he came in hot with the gun.
I don't care.
I thought that was funny.
He did help save the mayor too. But
no. I believe that the police respect him. I believe that Batman.
Well, and he's obviously
him.
competent. He's a head police detective at this point in the story. Like he clearly knows what he's doing. He doesn't just need Batman.
He would just be bad in an escape room.
Yes, 100% would be bad in an escape room.
I want the lead detective to solve at least a clue or two.
Yeah.
They did my boy Jim Gordon dirty is all I'm saying.
They did. Movie-related talk.
Ooh. This is one I find interesting because I think there's arguments for all of these.
I think the hardest part about this movie-related talk was coming up with a second Batman talk.
Sure, because we did one last week.
Yeah, that was rather difficult.
And we said, what makes a good Batman? This week I'm interested...
Ranyah, I argued that not being cool makes a good Batman.
Okay.
Because Christian Bale ain't cool. And he was a great Batman, Bruce Wayne.
He's kind of cool.
Is he?
Yeah.
I think he's only cool in the Dark Knight trilogy because he's super rich and not a recluse. But I wouldn't call Christian Bale cool.
I mean, he was a lot more charming than say this.
No, for sure Robert Pattinson is not cool.
Yeah. The antithesis of cool, I would argue.
I'm not, and Christian Bale is way cooler than Robert Pattinson, but he's not like Val Kilmer, George Clooney, played Batman in the 90s, Michael Keaton. But anyways, so this week is what's the most important part of the Batman story.
And I think you can make arguments for just about all of these. Is it Batman? Is it Bruce Wayne? Is it the villains? Is it Gotham? Or is it Batman's friends? Robert?
It's for
Robin?
sure. It's for sure not that.
It's definitely not that one.
Fuck the dude named after a shitty bird and the butler that is a butler.
I never understand why they get such great actors to play Alfred because it's completely unnecessary.
It's wasted talent. Andy Serkis could be any villain in the Batman universe and
because
fucking
Alfred
kill it.
has been around since Batman's been around.
Like, no, I get that,
just get an old British guy and throw him on there. I don't care who it
Get
is.
an old any guy. Make any old white dude a butler.
But he's not just a butler. He's like a dad figure. He takes care of him.
Sure.
Whatever. That doesn't need to be
But
Michael Caine.
My argument is Andy Serkis could play a better villain in the Batman universe. I could give a shit about Michael Caine. He could be Alfred now.
Jeremy Irons plays Alfred in the Batfleck movies. Why? Jeremy Irons is way too good to just be.
I also think the hard argument is I don't think Bruce Wayne and Batman are very important to how good Batman is.
I disagree.
I think Bruce Wayne is critical.
I think Batman is more critical than Bruce Wayne.
I think Batman is second to Bruce Wayne.
And what makes a good Batman story? I think it's all villains. I think the hardest one to argue is Batman, but y'all told me that's important.
No, I think Bruce Wayne's more important than Batman.
Okay, what do you think? Is Bruce Wayne more important or is Batman more important?
I mean, I think that Bruce Wayne makes the Batman. So I think Batman's second. I mean, at the end of the day, Bruce Wayne and who he is, like his enemies, like not his enemies. Sorry, let me rephrase that. His internal struggles make Batman.
Yeah, because you've got to have a problem if you're a billionaire and you're like, you know what I want to do? Beat the shit out of street level thugs at night.
Literally, I mean, he's like a day away from being somebody in like Arkham.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, for sure. He's fucking nuts for sure. And maybe this is because I've never watched any of the animated series, because the movies focus on Gotham and the villains. And I've only ever watched Batman movies. So when I think of Batman, I don't really think of... I mean, I do think of Batman and Bruce Wayne, but I'm also like, without the villains, there is no Batman and Bruce Wayne. So the villains in Gotham are more important to the overall story.
But kind of without Bruce Wayne making a Batman, there's no villains. There was crime, but the villains that came out of it...
That's true.
And you can just go so many different ways with Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
That is really what makes it more interesting.
I really like what Ranyah said. Like, without a Batman, is there a Joker or a Riddler? Or
this movie...
There's a Falcone, sure.
Sure.
But every major city has a mobster.
Right.
But are those other lunatics there?
Lunatics come up to meet Batman.
Yeah.
At his level.
I mean, clearly in this movie, the Riddler was doing everything he was doing because he thought him and Batman were on the same team.
Right. The Batman created the Riddler.
I like that argument.
Yeah. I actually think Gotham is... I don't know if it's the most important, but it's certainly the most interesting. The world building of Gotham, how many different ways you can go with it.
Well,
the citizens, the police.
Without Gotham, you don't have Batman.
Yes.
And you don't have Warframe Bruce Wayne.
Right. So we just worked our way up the ladder. Gotham gives you Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne gives you the villains.
You know, BJ, if you're any smarter than you are already, you would have another blat for this episode. You would have started with that. You'd open the discussion with that.
Yeah, but I didn't realize that until just now.
Yeah.
But I'm a Gotham guy. Of course, I've read all the stupid Malcolm Gladwell books about sociology, and the sociology of an entire corrupt city is pretty fascinating to me. And it's more than just good versus evil, right? Because it's a city. There's good people, there's bad people, there's people in the middle, there's people who just want to stay out of the way, there's people who want to do things, but they're not sure why they want to do things. I don't know. I'm a Gotham guy.
So you're a Gotham guy, Ranyah's a Bruce Wayne Batman gal, and I'm a villains guy. And y'all have both convinced me, I mean, Ranyah more than anybody, that, equally as important, I think.
I think you need all of them.
Yeah.
I don't think it works without all three of them being at least decent.
I think it's what makes Batman just so great, though. Like, it's the combination of this whole world. The villains, the heroes / anti-heroes.
Good point.
It's what has made it keep, it's been going, how many years? Since like the 30s?
Yeah. 60s.
60s?
Since the 60s. I mean, the 30s, no, you might be right because it's a comic book.
Yeah, I don't know about the comic book. I know the live action TV series.
60s, yeah. It just keeps coming back. I mean, we have our, fifth Joker, if you count Mark Hamill.
There's so much to get into.
No, even Mark Hamill's not even the only animated Joker. There's and people just keep coming out with it because people want to see Batman.
Yeah.
He's the most interesting of the superheroes.
I agree.
People love to see how it's
Batman
and
Wolverine are the two most interesting superheroes.
Yeah. The most
1939, Ranyah was right. The first Batman comic was May 1939, since the 30s.
Hitler had just invaded Poland.
Yep. And Japan was already fucking up China.
Yeah, long before that.
Yeah.
I know, 32. But I'm just shit was intense already by 39.
All right, so we're going to get off of early 20th century fascism and move on to our Mount Rushmore of scenes.
There we go. Mount Rushmore scenes. Oh, before we go into the Mount Rushmore scenes, I just want you all to be aware that Robert Pattinson, Batman, is 30 years old in this movie. His parents were killed in 2001, so that makes Bruce 30 years old. And this is not the first time Zoe Kravitz has appeared as Catwoman.
When
Did y'all know that?
I didn't.
She was in the Lego Batman movie as Catwoman.
Oh, okay.
She was the voice.
Did not know that.
Yeah.
Fun fact.
This Batman movie had the most villains of Batman's gallery within a single movie since the 1966 Batman movie, premiering 55 years ago, had Riddler, Penguin, Catwoman, and the Joker, which are the same ones in this movie.
Oh.
Yeah. So now that we got that out of the way, Mount Rushmore scenes. Zoe Kravitz, second time to play fucking Catwoman.
I have not seen the Lego Batman movie.
It's fucking awesome. Will Arnett plays Batman.
I knew that.
Does he really? I didn't know that, and I love him.
It's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
My number 4 favorite scene was the first nightclub scene. When I was thinking about the movie, I only remember 2 nightclub scenes, so I'm excited to rewatch it and watch that second one because every time they were in the nightclub, it was fucking awesome. I almost wanted to pick the second one second one that I thought when Falcone died, but I loved meeting the Penguin because that was my favorite villain from this movie. when I rewatched it last night, I caught a one-liner that I didn't notice. The blood on your suit thing, I can't remember it exactly, but it was mine or your suit. I was like, oh my God. Of course this is one of my favorite scenes. I love the fight on the boardwalk and the stairs, and then the Batman beating the fucking shit out of those guys with the bat, and then throwing the bat out of the guy with the gun. I was like, this is fucking awesome. And then I got to meet Colin Farrell's Penguin, which I didn't know was Colin Farrell at the time. I was just like, I was already into this movie, but fuck yes.
You get the Zoe Kravitz introduction too, in the sexy walk wearing all leather up to the Penguin.
Yes. You also get your first introduction to the Bat Gadgets, because he uses his grappling hook to fuck someone up.
Oh yeah, because he doesn't in the first scene where he beats up the.
No, he just knocked the shit up.
He has the taser thing.
That was someone else's taser.
Oh, didn't catch that.
I didn't catch that either.
Yeah,
I could watch this movie again.
So
yeah.
So does this go into the creepy Batman staring too long at Zoe Kravitz changing?
It 100% does. I'm watching this movie and I'm just like, holy shit, Batman's a fucking creeper. Like, I get it. We're a detective. But at the same time, you see a chick getting undressed. We're in 2022. You're Batman. You know the fucking deal. Look away for half a second. You'll still see her jump down off the balcony. Like, I was like, all right, dude. Like, go watch some fucking porn.
He lingered, for sure.
I felt like it was such a weird, just another comparison of Riddler and Batman. Like, how they both had, like, creepy staring into a person's home scene.
Well, it's the fine line between good and evil.
Yep.
And sometimes intention's not the difference.
Yep.
There's a fine line.
There is. But yeah, this scene ends there because it has to, because I have to bring up how creepy Bruce or the Batman was, because he was a little creepster.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what detective, private eye, whatever investigator is not really somewhat creepy.
Of course.
You have to be like...
His social skills seem pretty low.
They're a little shot.
Yes. It works out for him. He kisses her at one point, so I guess whatever.
She's into it?
Yeah, sure.
Well, she didn't know he was...
yeah, but she's not dumb.
Tom.
Look at her climbing around on fucking roofs in Gotham City. Like, she knows the fucking deal. Some random dude in a fucking bat costume. Yeah, you looked at me naked. Like, yeah.
Good.
Anyways, Ranyah, your fourth favorite scene.
My fourth favorite? It was the jail scene when he wakes up in jail.
Oh, Batman wakes up in jail.
Batman wakes up in jail. He's got cops surrounding him. They're discussing if they want to unmask him right then and there. And then, like, he just, in a frenzy, wakes up.
The failed flying squirrel suit scene.
The squirrel suit. So that's where I was going to lead. Like, the awkward, like, clearly he hasn't had to do it that much. Zips up the squirrel suit. And, wait, let me back up.
Sorry.
Yeah.
And just how awkward, like, he just didn't land it. Like,
yes.
He's not a superhero yet.
Yeah.
That's why there's not supervillains yet.
And he's never really a superhero. He just knows how to handle his shit better. And he clearly is still learning.
Clearly.
And
like, he straight up hit a bridge.
I think I audibly laughed when he hit the bridge and fell in the theaters.
Yes.
I think I audibly laughed. I found it so funny.
I loved it.
That was a good scene.
It was funny. What was it that he told Jim Gordon right there about punching him?
Oh,
there was a quote. That was a funny quote, too.
So Jim Gordon was like, he could have at least pulled that punch. So
and
not hit him as hard.
And he goes
like, I did.
I did. Yeah. Your third favorite scene, BJ?
Fourth favorite.
That's what I meant. Sometimes I try to fast forward this for whatever fucking reason.
So it is the capture of Paul Dano as the Riddler and the conversation in Arkham Asylum between Batman and the Riddler.
Oh, where he's banging on the glass.
Bruce Wayne. Because I think the reveal is not that Paul Dano is the Riddler. I think the actual reveal is that he's trying to befriend the Batman. I think that's the shocking reveal. Not of who it is, but like I said,
I think the Riddler's reveal is his master plan is to fuck up Gotham.
Okay, but either way, it's not.
No, but either way, it's not what we thought it was.
Correct.
But I can see it being like befriending the Batman.
I think the biggest reveal was the fact that Batman realizes right there, first of all, this guy knows who I am. Like, is he going to out me? Also, like, the big reveal was that he outsmarted Batman. Like, right then and there, when he's just like, you didn't see that yet?
Yeah.
Like, how did you not catch that? You're not as smart as I took you for. I mean, I guess that was the big reveal that he was going to, drown the city. But the big reveal wasn't that. It was
there was a bunch of reveals.
There was a bunch of reveals because he for sure thought that the reason he was able to shoot Falcone was because him and Batman ran on it.
Right.
And he was like, wait, you're not as smart as I thought you were?
Yeah, just love that scene. Paul Dano fully unhinged. Great scene.
That was probably my favorite scene with the Joker. With the Riddler.
Yeah.
Fair. Jacob, your third?
The car chase. The car chase was fucking incredible. The Batmobile was incredible. I don't know what about the Batmobile it was, but it looked like all four tires could move any direction they needed to. Just the way that it was shot, like driving up against the 18-wheeler and then stopping and then going up that ramp. Like that scene, I was like, all four wheels move however they need to. And the Batman just figures it the fuck out. This car's awesome.
And it looks so cool.
It looks so cool. It looks fucking scary.
It was amazing. In the alley with like the jet fuel coming out.
Yeah. The bit of trivia I have is Matt Reeves, he liked the idea of the car itself as a horror figure making an animalistic appearance to really scare the hell out of the people Batman's pursuing. There is absolutely a horror genre aspect to this movie.
He nailed it.
Yeah.
Because it's loud, it's menacing. It looks menacing, it sounds menacing. The way Batman drives it is menacing. That could be the villain in a horror movie, that Batmobile. Yeah. I can see that.
I loved how the scene started. I start the scene when Catwoman steals a bag of the money after the Penguin's already trying to get away from the Batman. So that's when it starts. And it ends, I wanted to end it with the interrogation of the Penguin, but I didn't because I just didn't. It ends with Batman walking up to the window of the Penguin and it being shot upside down from the Penguin's perspective, and Robert Pattinson's the Batman walking up with the fire exploding in the background. Speaking of the fire, the Batmobile going ramped up through the fire. I was like, fuck yes. This is so fucking cool.
How'd the airbag not go off in the Maserati that the Penguin was driving?
He probably had it disabled.
Okay.
Fat people problems.
Ranyah, number 3?
Well, he actually took mine because that was my number 2.
Oh, so if you have anything to add on it, because...
he ended it before that interrogation scene, but I was going to include it as part of it.
No, include the interrogation scene,
The interrogation scene was one of my favorite scenes. And just like them getting so involved with the interrogation and then their own like banter back and forth and them leaving him, and he literally looks like a penguin handcuffed. I love that.
He did the penguin walk. Love that.
Plus, that was also one of my favorite like lines.
Yes,
in the movie where he's just like, "What is this? Bad cop, bad chick cop." Yeah,
that's why I had to start the podcast.
Yes, and that scene also had Colin Farrell being like, "L and law. Am I the only person that knows the difference between L and law and Spanish? You dumb fucks."
I love
like he doesn't say dumb fucks, but I'm like that was so funny to me.
That's funny. When he's really given the "Hey, I'm walking over here" accent.
Yeah. It's funny, Matt Reeves actually wrote the Penguin with Colin Farrell in mind as being like a gangster-looking normal build, and Colin Farrell had just got done shooting a movie where he was really heavy, and Matt Reeves was like, "Oh no, let's keep this weight," and Colin Farrell was like, "No, fuck you, I'm unhealthy as shit," and so he wore a fat suit, and then they broke his nose, kind of get the penguin thing, but they didn't want to go too penguin, but yeah.
Did they actually break his nose?
No, just the prosthetics.
Oh, okay.
Just wore a broken nose.
I was like, what?
that was my favorite scene, ending with the penguin waddle out.
No, penguin waddle. That was one of my favorite parts of the movie.
And the Batmobile reveal was, in my opinion, the coolest moment of this movie.
Yeah, I see that.
I loved when Colin Farrell thought he was getting away.
Yeah.
Like...
yelling, "I got you! Yeah. I got you!"
Uh-oh.
Amazing. And then just the Batman walking up, upside down. All the fire looked fucking awesome.
Ranyah, number 3?
My number 3 was Catwoman and Pre going into the club with the Batman.
The
The awkward scene. He's testing out the awesome, cool contact lens gadget, and she's clearly trying to go in for a kiss, and he's so awkward that he's just like, "Is that thing still in there? Is it working?"
Let me take a closer look.
And she's just like, okay, never mind, and does that like shoulder thing. I love that scene. I thought it was funny.
I love that your favorite scenes are very Bruce Wayne heavy. Bruce Wayne and the Batman. I love that.
But it was also Catwoman.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
it was her like disappointment in that moment that made it funny though. Just like, this guy's clueless.
Yeah.
The feeling how women get objectified walking through a club.
Oh my gosh.
She's like, yeah, doesn't feel good, does it? Batman.
I did like her walking through the club. She was pretty fierce.
Oh, that's an understatement.
Yeah. I love the pink wig.
Her walk is fantastic in this movie.
Yes.
Yes.
She was a fucking certified
Her
badass.
Halle Berry.
Yep. Halle Berry was Catwoman last time.
Not last time.
You're right, because Zoe Kravitz was in Batman the Lego movie.
No, but in
Anne
Dark
Hathaway.
Knight, Anne Hathaway.
That's right.
But Anne Hathaway was not my favorite Catwoman.
No.
But Halle Berry, like her and Halle Berry were kind of on par with their walks, I feel like.
Okay.
The walk. Like,
are we gonna do Ranyah as the guest whenever I watch Catwoman for the first time?
I don't think I've seen Catwoman.
Oh my god, is it gonna be a host virgin episode with Ranyah?
I'll have to rewatch that.
Of course.
I think it's worse than Batman and Robin.
Duh. Duh.
So my third favorite scene is the opening scene that is straight out of a horror movie. It is, you don't know it yet, but it's the Riddler looking into the mayor's house. When you hear the heavy breathing,
See, the before you continue, that sucks about you watching it at a theater, me not, because I didn't catch the breathing from the Riddler.
No.
Oh.
No.
Yeah. It's not as obvious. You're right.
Didn't catch that at home in my living room.
Yes, it's pretty intense.
And I don't listen to my movies turned on low. So
it is such a menacing scene.
I bet that was cool hearing the fucking breathing.
Yes, it was very creepy.
Yes. And they never, to your point about not really liking the Riddler, they never match that the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
They come out just on fire and he's super menacing and the mask and the carpet tucking tool. And they never really match that horror movie element from the Riddler the rest of the movie. But it's so good in the first scene.
But after that first introduction of the Riddler, it is just about the crime. Like, it's there. Like, I don't really feel like it's about the Riddler anymore.
They don't even show him murdering the commissioner.
No.
Or capturing him.
Right.
I mean, he's in the back of the car for the DA, but that's about it.
Jacob, second favorite?
Also an intro scene, but not that one. It was the intro to the Batman.
Yeah.
In the subway scene, Ranyah, I'm a huge fucking fan of foreshadowing, and I just have this rock hard feeling that we're gonna see that gang again as the Joker's henchmen. They kind of had the look.
Oh my god!
I thought that too.
I think.
Yeah. But I loved how that scene opens. Robert Pattinson as Bruce Wayne narrating what's going on in Gotham and him being Batman and the bat signal and just all the different crimes that are happening in Gotham at that moment. The dude wearing the pumpkin, stealing, the spray painting, like all the different crimes that are happening. I was just like, just introduce me to Gotham right after your scene with the Riddler killing the mayor. Like, introduce me more into Gotham, and then Bruce Wayne, not Bruce Wayne, sorry, the Batman knocking the complete fuck out of that gang.
The kick-ass Nirvana soundtrack playing in the background.
The kick-ass Nirvana soundtrack. Like, at that moment, like, this movie, like, I was like, oh my god, I love the narrating. I loved... This was my number one favorite scene until we got to my actual number one favorite scene, because this was just so, like, I was like, I'm in for a fucking ride. And then how violent it was, because that first fight was so violent. And the first dude he kicked the shit out of, he said, "I'm vengeance," and they're like, "Who the fuck is this guy?" He's like, "I'm vengeance." Like the last two punches in the train state, or the last two punches, the victim was already unconscious, and Batman says, "I'm vengeance" was improvised by Robert Pattinson, stating, "I wanted to say it as the guy is losing consciousness, so it goes into his dreams. I really wanted his future to be really, really damaged."
Matt Reeves has issues.
So creepy.
No, that wasn't Matt Reeves. That was Robert Pattinson.
Pattinson. Yeah.
That was Robert Pattinson that wanted to do that. I mean, and just like he says, the bat signal's not just a call; it's a warning. He says, "I use fear as a tool. They think I'm hiding in the shadows, but I am the shadows." Like all this stuff happens in this scene. And
so, do you think the person that double parked before they went into the grocery store and they're walking to the grocery store and see the bat signal? You think they run back to their car and make sure they're not double parked?
No, only because this is year 2. At year 4 for Batman, fucking maybe. Because at the end of that scene, that dude was like, "Oh my god, please don't hurt me."
Yeah, I found that very interesting in that scene when the guy who was being attacked by the mob, after Batman kicks the shit out of all of them, he goes over that guy and he goes like, "Please don't hurt me, please don't hurt me." So Gotham doesn't quite know what Batman is yet.
No. And I just, like I said, that was going to be my number one scene. Like, for almost the entirety of the whole movie.
It's funny that you say what you said about, like, Matt Reeves and, like, giving Robert Pattinson, like, that choice to do. Because I read something, I didn't know about that scene about Robert Pattinson, like, wanting it to come out that way.
Yeah.
But I did read something about the Riddler's act. What's the Riddler's
Paul
actor?
Dano.
Paul Dano, that's right, sorry. Mom brain. Paul Dano's character wanting to reshoot that creepy scene where he's like going into the cell phone like several, like
200 times. I have that on my trivia. Yeah, 200 times they recorded that scene of Paul Dano being the Riddler online.
Yeah, and I thought that was creepy.
Wow.
In general, the Riddler being online and like in today's world is creepy enough, but like him trying to make it more menacing.
Yeah,
it's really crazy.
I really liked how dark it was, and I think it's it's going to be a really good story for Batman and Bruce Wayne, because I think the darker you can make the Batman universe, the better.
Well, and he's going to have to realize that he's got to do work as Bruce Wayne and as Batman.
Yeah.
To improve the city. He can't just be Batman. He's got to be both.
But how long is it going to take him to figure that out?
I think he figures that out in the movie. Though. Well, I mean, by the end of the movie.
Yeah, but like even with next movie, like what does he think does better? Like what's better for Gotham? And I think Robert Pattinson's young enough that you can flesh this shit out for 4 movies if you wanted to. And if they make the next 3 movies that they do 4 as good as they made this one, I mean, I'm down.
So,
I'd be so
Ranyah,
excited.
we already know your second scene, the car chase.
Uh-huh.
My second favorite scene is the final battle in the rafters of Madison Square Garden, or whatever. Gotham Square
Garden.
Why add the square? I get it. It's supposed to be New York. Just call it Gotham Garden. Gotham Garden sounds cool.
It's got to be Gotham Square, BJ.
It sounds stupid. Gotham Square Garden sounds
symbolism.
stupid.
Come on, dude. Yeah.
But
thank you, Ranyah. She can join this fucking podcast anytime she wants to.
Get double teamed over here.
Double penetration on I Remember My First Time.
Ugh.
Oh no.
But I'm usually not a fan, especially in superhero movies, of the final fight scene. They're usually incredibly underwhelming, way too long. This one is short, it's quick, it's to the point.
It's very impactful.
It's cool.
Yeah.
You don't know who he's fighting because they're all dressed the same. He damn near dies.
Yes.
Well, all the Batman villains always have henchmen. You know, like the Joker always has henchmen. You foreshadow to those clown faces. I mean, the Riddler had henchmen.
Sure.
I mean...
And they were really cool.
It's weird that this time he got them online via, like...
You can say QAnon.
Yeah, QAnon theory type stuff. Yeah.
Which, as a sidebar in this podcast, one of BJ's favorite things in the world, just like mine is in foreshadowing, is when movies intentionally make fun of something very real and they don't try to hide it.
Yes.
Yes.
QAnon was in this movie.
Yes.
AOC was in this movie.
Yeah. The mayor-elect is clearly AOC.
One of BJ's favorite fucking things.
You know, I put the QAnon thing together, but not the AOC. That's funny.
It's so obvious.
Yeah, it's very
When I was waiting for them to be like the former bartender.
My number one scene is the finale. And I understand what you mean by not being a fan of comic book finale scenes, because they are always too much. But me in general, I love finale scenes for any movie.
Yeah.
I do typically dislike the finale scenes for comic book movies because they are always way over the top. But when they're done right, they're fucking cool. In this one, again, all the violence. Like, I love violence. It's my favorite thing in movies. The scene starts off for me with Paul Dano in prison. And then watch just, woo, just as the city starts blowing up. I just love when master plans are talked out.
Yeah.
You love it when a plan comes together?
I love it when a plan comes together. I love it when the villain is so fucking full of himself and has such a big sack of nuts that they're just like, you know what? This is what I'm doing. There ain't a goddamn thing you can do about it. I'm just like, show me how big your dick is. Flop it out on the table. Because that's what you're doing in those scenes, and I fucking love it.
We need more accountants as bad guys.
Yes. I love Batman coming through the fucking roof, shattering all the glass.
Catwoman coming in to save the day.
As much in that nightclub scene when he beats the shit out of people with a bat, he uses a gun as a bat in this scene, which I very much enjoyed. Catwoman showing up and saving Batman, who was about to die.
He was.
Like, is Batman gonna die in the Matt Reeves cinematic universe? Because he almost fucking died in this movie.
What was it that he injected himself with?
So
I've never seen
I'm about
that.
to get to that.
Okay.
I watched that and I was like, well, that was fucking cool. And as I'm doing my trivia, I read that a struggling Batman injects himself with a green drug that gets him back on his feet, but briefly drives him berserk. It looks a lot like Bane's venom. In the comics, Bruce briefly became addicted to the drug so he could better protect people before Bane was even introduced.
Interesting.
Wow.
Isn't that fucking cool?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he beats the fuck out of that guy, which, again, I can't reiterate it enough. I fucking love violence.
So Marvel set the stage with Tony Stark dying in Endgame. Sorry, spoilers. Whatever. I can very much see Batman dying in the Matt Reeves universe.
Cinematic universe, yeah.
I can see that. I also feel like this Batman's definitely killing people.
Oh, this Batman kills people. I mean, he might not ever mean to, but he's too violent. He's too crazy. And I love it.
Yeah, if he doesn't change, if this is the Batman the whole way through, he's killing somebody.
Well, and if he does get addicted to that Bane's venom, he's going to kill somebody just on that alone. Because, I mean, he loses control and just beats the fuck. He almost knocked the shit out of Gordon.
And he pulled that punch.
Yeah.
Ranyah, favorite scene?
Number one.
My number one was the intro. So I might talk about some of the lesser scenes that
we'll do real quick.
We'll do quick honorable mentions.
Yeah. Cool. Well, then I loved the imagery of the first scene, the intro scene. I wasn't more excited. The
intro to Batman?
The Batman, yes.
Okay. So my number two scene.
Your number two scene. I loved his narration of it. I love the imagery of Gotham. I love that it was on Halloween. And that everyone was creepy.
I love that it was on Halloween.
I love that everyone was wearing the masks.
I love when PG-13 movies say the F word.
Yeah.
They did.
And they said happy fucking Halloween.
Yeah.
Sorry, keep going.
I love that we had that first introduction to him with like the metal, the boots. Mm-hmm. And you just hear him walking in.
He's got lifts in those boots because Robert Pattinson looks 6'5" in the Batman costume.
Yeah. And he's 6'1".
He's tall, yeah.
So he's not short, but he
might not have had lifts because if you're 6'1", you can shoot it to look tall.
Yeah. Well, and oh my goodness, the actor that played Gordon. I know he's a short guy. Zoe Kravitz is short.
Zoe Kravitz is real short. Real short. Keep going.
Why'd you say it like that?
I don't fucking know.
Lisa Bonet's daughter, right? Lisa Bonet and Lenny Kravitz's daughter?
Sure.
Definitely Lenny Kravitz's daughter.
Yes.
Yeah. I know 2 people fucked to make her at one point.
Jason Momoa's stepdaughter.
Yep.
You clicking on that link on Pornhub?
Maybe. Maybe. What else did you like about the scene? Anything? Anything you left out before?
I was going to ask, because I don't remember. I feel like my memory these days, it's just struggling, 2 kids working full-time these days. The imagery for, like, the drops on, like, the packaging, did that come from previous comics? Just, like, I feel like I've seen it before, but, like, the shape of, like, the teardrop on, like, the drops, drugs.
Well, it's like an eye drop, right? They're dropping it in their eye. Am I wrong?
I missed this part of the movie.
Oh, who knows?
Well, the drugs, they show up several times. They show up in the beginning. They show up like when they bust them. When
the DA's doing them in the club.
Yeah, there's several times where they show them. Like the packaging has like that teardrop shape, and I feel like I've seen it before, and I don't know if it's from previous Batman comics.
I have no idea. I couldn't.
But I loved it because I felt like it seemed classically.
They said
Batman.
drop heads in the movie at least 47 times.
Wow, I missed that. Okay.
They do say drop heads a lot.
Yes.
Drop heads?
It is like crackheads, but.
Oh, I get it, BJ. Your number 1 favorite scene?
It's the car chase. We
That's your number 1?
Yes.
Okay.
When it comes out and you see the blue flame jet. When you see the blue flame jet fuel coming out of it, and the penguin's like, oh shit. It's the coolest moment in the movie. It's the coolest scene in the movie. And just the cherry on top is the penguin doing the penguin waddle as he's tied up afterwards. Great scene. Really cool, edge of your seat. It's the coolest part of the movie, in my opinion.
I won't disagree with that, even though it's not my number 1. It is the coolest scene. And it's a fucking ride. It's the fucking tits.
Do we have any honorable mentions?
Oh, yes. The mayor's funeral scene where the DA gets his fucking head blown up.
Yes.
That was hard to keep off my list.
It was really hard to keep off my list, too. I love that scene. I like when that guy on the other side of the, in the common area, he's trying to talk to him about these guys with, like, money and power, and he's talking to Bruce Wayne and doesn't realize it. I just love that. The awkwardness, and Bruce is just like, what? And there's so many moving parts to that scene that were just so much fun.
I really liked in that part. So I think the cop's name was Martinez. He seems like he's just one of the cops, right? He's just a guy, and he's really questioning Batman when Batman shows up at the crime scene, etc. And then they're at the funeral, and he sees Bruce Wayne. He's like, "Hey, it's Bruce Wayne! Hey, Bruce, what's up?
Hey!" And Bruce is like, "Just leave me the fuck alone, please."
He's like, you literally called me an asshole last night for showing up to the crime scene. Fuck you.
Yeah, fucking dick.
He was the one that figured out that was a carpet tool, though.
He did. So not useless.
No.
In fact, more useful than Jim Gordon.
He's actually one of my
Do you like that, BJ? Yeah. More useful than Jim Gordon, motherfucker.
No, Jim Gordon should be more useful.
I'm aware that he should be more useful, but he fucking wasn't.
Do you know why?
And thank you, because I wouldn't have even put that together, but I'm glad I got to see you squirm in your seat. And you brought it up.
So we can't be Batman, right? We can't even be Catwoman. We can't be the Joker. We can't be Carmine Falcone. But do you know what we all can be? We all can be Jim Gordon.
We could be the Joker. You don't know what's going to happen. We could flip a bolt.
I wouldn't put it past him.
Yeah.
Okay. We can all be Jim Gordon.
He's established.
You're the
he
exception.
likes violence.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Ranyah. She appreciates the violence.
Anarchist.
But you're right. We can all be Jim Gordon.
And Jim Gordon doesn't do fucking shit. Nope. Anyway, that pisses me off.
They bounce ideas back and forth off each other. No? Okay,
Yeah.
I tried.
I mean, and every rich white dude needs a smart black guy to bounce ideas off of. There's never been any more true thing in American history as that right there. So
That was the theme of the movie.
we did it, BJ. That was all the number one scenes.
Pretty close. We were all in the same ballpark.
Yep. Honorable mention. I mean, the DA getting exploded in the mayor's death scene. Anybody else have another honorable mention? Like the club scene where Falcone dies.
Sure.
Honorable mention for me.
But I have so many.
The
Like
whole
mini.
movie. Yeah.
The whole movie, yeah. So many mini scenes.
When Zoe Kravitz catches I think his name was Kinsey, the narcotics cop.
Yes.
And they're up where the bat signal is. That scene's really cool.
I love it. That's the one where he's running down the tower, and I love that shot.
And BJ, I'm pretty sure earlier today you said that your favorite one-liners in that scene.
It is.
What is it?
So that's when Batman's like, he's not worth throwing your life away for.
Which, by the way, Batman doesn't have a Batman voice in this movie.
I don't care. Every time I do Batman, he's going to have a Batman voice. And she goes, don't worry.
I've got
got
9 of them. Yep.
Like, God.
I love it. I loved it.
So cheesy.
Cheesy, but you loved it.
I did.
You loved it.
I love that. You guys didn't like the dad joke thumb drive scene?
No, because it makes Gordon look like a fucking dipshit because he can't figure out a single goddamn clue.
Yep.
But it was still funny.
Oh, this guy's sick. Jim Gordon's doing a Batman voice the whole movie, isn't he?
100%. 100% he's doing a Batman voice. Jim Gordon, it seems like he's, like, that actor's trying to be as dark as the movie. Bro, just play a police detective.
What do you think, Batman? The riddle. That's what he's saying.
I will say in this movie, Batman did the fade away, sneak away thing. Awesome. He did it like at least 3 times.
He did it incredibly well.
So I think I may be more jealous of his Irish exit than his billions of dollars. I wish to have that Irish exit ability.
You are a personal user of the Irish
Oh,
exit.
Absolutely.
Yes, he likes that.
And,
I'm not
in fact,
a fan.
you're not. You don't even like it when you do it when he does it for the both of you.
I like it. Why would it benefits me? Okay. I like anything if it benefits me.
Fair.
I was so jealous of his Irish accents in this movie.
It was nuts.
But that scene with Martinez, and it's Martinez, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he Irish exits like Riddler's home in the apartment. Oh man,
that's a good one.
I just laughed.
So, character breakdown. This is a good segue into that because we start with the Batman.
Yeah, the titular character.
Yeah, and speaking of being a great Irish exit, that first scene where they're investigating the mayor's murder, Robert Pattinson said that he wanted to basically act like a ghost in that scene. Which is, like, when you rewatch it, one of the crime scene investigators is like,
following him around.
Excuse me. And Robert Pattinson didn't even move. Like he was like, excuse me, and like walked past him, and like Robert Pattinson did move.
Pattinson's a dick to the cops. He's a dick to Alfred.
Pattinson's a dick. Like the Batman and Bruce Wayne in this movie is a dick.
Yes.
I thought, almost all Bruce Waynes are kind of dicks, though.
That's fair. No,
Yeah.
There's not
I'm standing behind her on this.
There is not a Bruce Wayne that's that much of a dick to Alfred.
That's not what she said. She said there's not a Bruce Wayne who's not a dick.
Sure, but he is above it. Like, George Clooney was not a dick.
No, but that movie was a caricature of everything else.
Okay.
That movie was a cartoon.
Like, Christian Bale's not mean to the people he's close to.
He's a dick.
Are you sure Christian Bale's not mean to the people he's close to?
I think he was the meanest to the people he was close to. Didn't he leave? What's her name?
Andy Serkis just about dies.
Gyllenhaal.
And when he wakes up out of the coma.
Maggie
Gyllenhaal.
Where's the sweater, Maggie? Alfred almost dies. And when he finally wakes up after being medically sedated, Bruce Wayne's like, you lied to me. I'm like, bro, he almost fucking died.
They had such a tender moment, though.
Okay, first of all, one, that's his butler, so get your panties out of wad, BJ.
He raised him.
Okay, and he clearly misses his parents too much. He doesn't give a shit who raised him. He just wants his parents back. 2, I just had the first one.
The cufflinks. He's like, oh, so you're a Wayne? Fuck you, Bruce. Yes, he is literally as much of a Wayne as you.
He's probably more of a Wayne, just not by birth.
God.
He's got a Wayne. Oh, man, that was rich. Big fan of Robert Pattinson's Batman.
Oh, I am too. I fully expect the rich, privileged kid to be an asshole.
So you'll enjoy this. Bruce Wayne is partly inspired by Kurt Cobain. Matt Reeves was listening to Nirvana when he wrote the first act with Pattinson in mind, and that's when it came to him. Rather than make Bruce Wayne the Playboy version we've seen before, there's another version who had gone through a great tragedy and became a recluse. Kurt Cobain had a similar relationship with fame, where being famous was not his goal. He loved music, but the idea of being famous for music was a double-edged sword for him. And that made Reeves think of Robert Pattinson. He felt like the rock star vibe suited him well, with being a pop culture icon at a very young age and having to carry that burden with the whole Twilight series.
He does have a little Kurt Cobain haircut.
Yeah.
As Bruce
He's
Wayne.
got that feel too, like it's like he doesn't want to be Bruce Wayne. Like
The oversized t-shirts are Kurt Cobain-ish. I see that. Ranyah, anything to add about Pattinson's Batman?
I loved when he dressed up and became Bruce Wayne for the few scenes that he was Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
Like
It was cool to see because obviously it'll be fleshed out more in the future.
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed when he went to go visit Falcone, and just in general, like he walks in there and the difference and like how he's able to easily get into the club, go visit Falcone, and get that backstory. And the whole time, it was like a different person. Like he was just way more. I don't know. He wasn't that same confident Batman.
So that
he did
scene,
have a different personality. He was way more like
that scene tells Bruce Wayne that he needs to do just as good as Bruce Wayne as Batman, because Bruce Wayne can do things Batman can't.
Yes, that's true. That is foreshadowing for that. Potentially, like, I can get so much more done with my money. I think that's when he first realizes, like, me as Bruce Wayne is powerful, almost as powerful as I can be with Batman.
Or can at least do things that Batman can.
Yes.
Yeah.
And further on the whole Batman being kind of insane thing, another little bit that I learned about the movie is when the Batman is in Gotham, he's such a tortured individual or whatever that he's so caught up in being Batman, he doesn't give a fuck about Bruce, and we've already talked about in the podcast. So much to the point that when he's fighting people, he's only seeing the person who killed his parents. He's not seeing anybody else. And so when you take that into account and you realize like how violent the movie was and how like he just completely knocked the fucking shit out of anybody he fought. Like it makes sense when you look at it that way too. Like he's only seeing the people that killed his parents. Like he's out there to kill.
So you think that changes after like that scene when he realizes like
I think
his dad had a part to do with like both of his parents' murders.
And then
essentially,
and I think in the next movie, all of that will be like a central theme for Bruce Wayne and Batman, because now him beating the shit out of people, it's not just in his mind that it's the people who killed my parents. It's like bigger than that now.
Yeah.
Well, so here's the thing I felt with Thomas Wayne in this movie. The takeaway was you don't have to be a perfect person to be a good person.
Sure.
Because Thomas Wayne clearly wasn't a perfect person. But he was a good person. He made a mistake. He wasn't perfect.
Yeah.
But I still think overall Thomas Wayne is a good person.
You don't know Thomas Wayne, but I feel like I agree.
Moving on to Zoe Kravitz's portrayal as Catwoman. Before we get in, I want to have the discussion. Because as far as this podcast goes, the sexiest male we've had in a movie is Tom Selleck as Matthew Quigley.
Yes.
And the sexiest female is Sharon Stone in Basic Instinct as Catherine Trammell.
Correct.
Ranyah, you have seen The Batman with Zoe Kravitz and Basic Instinct with Sharon Stone.
You haven't seen Quigley Down Under?
No.
I'll get ready for a mustache ride from heaven. You're welcome. It's on HBO.
Sure.
Does Zoe Kravitz overtake Sharon Stone's Catherine Trammell as the sexiest character we've watched on screen?
Absolutely not. No.
No, to a point. I loved how Sharon Stone though she just had confidence that Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman had on the exterior, but clearly didn't have
and like as a person.
As a person,
Yeah.
yes.
And Sharon Stone was also like we talked about when we did the Basic Instinct podcast, like men have this unrealistic, put blondes on a pedestal, like all blondes are gorgeous. And that's not true. Blondes are just like anybody else in this world, like some are pretty and some are not. But Sharon Stone fit that fake narrative because she was fucking hot.
Sharon Stone knew what she was doing.
Yes.
She did.
And she was taking complete control in every scene. Catwoman was not. And that's a sex appeal too.
Catwoman had so much.
As a woman, like when you're just like in control and just like when you're tougher than every man you're in the room with, like I want you to fuck me. Like I don't even want to fuck you. I want you to fuck me because you know what the fuck you're doing. And I didn't get that feeling from Zoe Kravitz.
No.
No, I agree. Sharon Stone. But I thought that we had to have the conversation.
Yeah.
With Zoe Kravitz. But that's good. Sharon Stone as Catherine Trammell is going to be really tough to beat.
I think so.
In any movie.
Yeah.
And no one in this movie comes close to Tom Selleck as Matthew Quigley in Quigley Down Under. So...
Ranyah, really, please enjoy it. It's such a great movie. I've seen it about 12 or 15 times.
It's really good.
It's really good.
It's a Western.
Okay. Yeah. I like Westerns.
Yeah. And you will love it.
Okay. It's on my list.
Please tell BJ to be like, tell Jacob that I fucking love this movie. Because I want to know.
All right.
But no, Zoe Kravitz is great as Catwoman. She's cool. Great physically. I can see her as a cat burglar. Good chemistry with Pattinson in this movie.
I wasn't a fan of her mask. I thought her mask was stupid. I thought it was so dumb. That one little random little piece of cloth that goes over her nose and her cheekbones. I was like, okay.
So it's clearly that beanie that you buy at the dollar store because it's a little colder than you expect one day.
Yep.
That costs you like $1.50.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's her mask.
But maybe she's going through the birth of her
for sure.
Character just like everybody else.
Yeah.
I mean, she's good at her craft, but she's clearly also new at it.
Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man costume when he first got bit by that spider was pretty shitty.
Yes.
Yeah.
It looked a lot like the PJs I owned when I was younger that were Spider-Man.
I hope we see her again as Catwoman and
I do
that
too.
Evolves into
I think that they'll even have better chemistry when Batman and Bruce Wayne aren't so fucking awkward.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think even their relationship can get better.
When Batman and Bruce Wayne's relationship gets better together as a person, or Catwoman and Batman?
Yes.
Both,
I think, yeah.
Okay, just clarify.
The Riddler.
We beat this one over the head quite a bit.
We have.
The idea of the Riddler, I think, is better than the character of the Riddler.
Yeah.
Just what he does.
And
Thinking he's befriending Batman.
I really wonder what my feeling about the Riddler would have been if I heard him breathing in that first scene. Because I think that alone could have put me on another level of him. Because for the rest of the movie, I was just like, I mean, yeah. But I wonder if that would have really changed it for me. I think that it might have. It's so hard to beat a theatrical experience with a movie like this.
Sure.
Gordon, we beat that to death.
They did my boy wrong.
They did your boy wrong. Penguin, we beat him to death.
Great. Good job, Colin Farrell. You're getting the next movie.
Oh, for sure.
No, the next series.
Colin Farrell's also the tallest actor to portray the Penguin at just 5'10". Just saying.
At just 5'10".
Other characters, Alfred, the DA, the mayor. Is really the only one to talk about is Alfred. So you mentioned earlier today that you knew that he was in the Special Forces. This Alfred. Yeah. Did you know that, Ranyah?
No, I didn't.
That's why he seemed to have more competence than other Alfreds before.
I thought, didn't the Dark Knight Alfred have military experience, or he just had a lot of money?
I think he was just used to the Batman lifestyle and
Okay.
the money and the Batcave. And
Okay.
Yeah, because Andy Serkis mentions that he could teach him how to fight.
on my little trivia dig, when Alfred is deciphering the first clue from the Riddler, he tells Bruce he's remembering back to his days in the circus. This is likely a reference to the name given to MI6 headquarters. Andy Serkis stated that in this version, Alfred Pennyworth was the security guard for Bruce's father, Thomas Wayne. He is also an excellent codebreaker and an intelligence expert. Alfred is a former member of the MI6, the United Kingdom's counterintelligence and security agency.
Wow.
Oh, so
Did
I
not.
So
thought
he wasn't even a butler. He was technically
Security
A body
detail.
security
Yeah.
guard, and then
Yeah.
he just stayed with Bruce.
so
Which
I
makes
thought
Alfred a bit cooler.
Yeah, it does.
I thought the circus was a inside joke that Andy Serkis was playing it
Okay.
and said circus.
Okay.
And I also thought the 44 Below, the club within the club, was a jab at Christopher Nolan for Inception, the dream within the dream.
Oh, yeah. I don't think it was a jab, but you would fucking... That's your blat of the episode. Is this a dig at Christopher Nolan? Do you know what a blat is?
No.
Have you heard that?
I haven't.
That's something totally unique to your husband. DJ's wild-ass theories. I made it up.
Oh, that's perfect. for
Yeah.
him. Yeah.
Oh, you know some of them.
I know
Yeah.
lots of them.
Yeah, he has some wild shit. I'm just like, dude, shut the fuck up. And then every once in a while, they make fucking sense. And it's the worst.
Rare.
Yeah, I really thought I was like, when they said the club within the club, I was like, making a dig at Christopher Nolan here?
No.
Okay.
No.
all right.
They're just like mobsters need somewhere to go,
Sure.
and they own the club.
Okay.
Not everything's as cool as you want it to
Alright.
be.
Whatever Skarsgård brother as the DA, I thought was a really fun performance.
Yes.
I like the DA.
I like Peter Skarsgård.
Yeah.
He's a good actor. I enjoy watching him on screen. And he really killed it in this.
He did.
So does him and his old man have a DC Marvel beef at Thanksgiving now?
He's married to Maggie Gyllenhaal.
Is he really?
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
They both played DAs in Batman universes.
Huh.
Huh.
Does him and his dad have a DC Marvel like headbutt at Thanksgiving dinner?
Who was his dad?
Stellan Skarsgård.
And what did he play?
He's the scientist in Thor and the first Avengers.
Oh, nice. The guy that doesn't watch comic book movies.
Yeah.
You're like, how do you not know this? I'm like, it's because I don't.
Oh,
watch
that's
them."
his dad?
Yeah.
The scientist that's with like...
Loki's got the mind control on him in Avengers, and he's with
Okay.
Black Swan Girl in the Thor movies.
Yeah, Natalie Portman.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you better have some good trivia and facts for me, Jacob.
I mean, I've already sprinkled a couple throughout the episode.
you always do.
And they've been some fucking bangers.
All right.
I'm going to start with foreshadowing because my dick gets hard for foreshadowing.
Your 6th grade English teacher should be so proud.
She is. Miss Turner. You did it, lady.
Turner, hardly know her.
Ah! The first two cards Batman gets from the Riddler, the old lady answering a phone and an old man encountering an explosion were foreshadowing Alfred being attacked by Riddler's bomb intended for Bruce, and Dory answering Bruce's phone call.
I'm sorry. Rewind. Which first? Mind blown, first of all, but...
Right, so the two cards that Batman gets to begin with from the Riddler.
But the first
one of them is an old dude being exploded on the front of the card. That's foreshadowing Alfred opening the bomb up that was intended for Bruce.
Okay.
And then the second one was...
I'm just a call away.
Yeah, I'm just a call away.
Oh my god.
And
I just put that together.
Yeah, and it was Dory answering the phone when Bruce was trying to call to warn Alfred.
And it was too late.
It was too late.
It's
So-
already happened.
Yeah.
An hour ago.
So, love foreshadowing. Had to throw that in there.
Oh my goodness.
BJ, did you know that there was a deleted scene that had the Joker in it from this movie?
Yes, I did.
You did?
Yeah.
I'd not.
Yeah. They ended up taking it out of the movie because Matt Reeves felt like it gave too much insight to what the Riddler was doing. But it had positive receptions online. And I'll send it to you so you can watch it later.
Okay.
But the Joker looks fucking cool. He's got kind of similar scars to Heath Ledger's Joker. But they're all over his head and his mouth because they, according to Matt Reeves, they came from a birth defect. and he can't stop laughing.
I thought it was Two-Face when I first saw
I
the
did
movie.
too. In
Okay,
the
at
very
the-
beginning.
Okay.
Yes.
In
Yeah.
the very beginning of that scene, I was like, oh, it's Toothface.
I immediately knew it was a Joker.
After he laughed.
Sure, the laughs got it, but
Yeah.
but when they showed
Well, I guess with not knowing Batman as much as you two, I didn't think anything of it. I was like, this is going to be somebody. Y'all thought it was Two-Face.
They
I'm
showed
just
only
like,
half his face, and it was like kind of deformed, and I
Okay.
thought, oh, this is Two-Face.
I don't even know if I realized they showed his face. I just heard it, and I'm listening to it. I'm like, oh, fuck, yeah. But there's a whole 5-minute scene with the Joker in it. This is the first movie that I've come across where there's COVID trivia.
is this a new segment?
Tell us more.
Yeah.
So this
There's-
is going to be a regular thing.
Yeah, there's COVID trivia to this movie. When filming began after months of lockdown due to COVID-19 and then a breakout happened on set, so they had to stop again for filming, it took almost a year and a half to film this movie. But anyways, Robert Pattinson tested positive after only one day back on set, and director Matt Reeves didn't want to risk getting COVID, so he transformed himself on set into a burrito, wearing a mask, gloves, a head covering, and scuba diving goggles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
He
I love
stated,
people from California.
Yeah. He stated, you couldn't see my face, and this is the way the actors saw me for the rest of the movie. I was like this ridiculous, hermetically sealed creature. It was absurd. And like Ranyah said, we love people from California because people in Texas don't give two flying fucks.
No,
And they never
no,
have.
Never have.
Never have.
Oh man, that's funny.
And then the other bit of COVID trivia was, I actually have two more. The first one was because of the social distancing, Robert Pattinson had an earpiece in his ear to get directorial cues from Matt Reeves. And sometimes they would forget that it was in there, and so they'd be filming some kind of intense scene or some shit, and Robert Pattinson could hear the reactions of Matt Reeves' breathing when things got really intense. He said sometimes it was distracting, but sometimes it was pretty fucking cool.
Oh, see, I thought you were gonna say like Matt Reeves is like ordering a pizza
No,
while they're doing it. Like he's trying to act, and Matt Reeves is like, yeah. No extra olives, no mushrooms.
Matt Reeves is all in on this. Incredible. Like I was just like, okay, that's fucking insane. And then it had the second highest debut in box office during the pandemic, behind only Spider-Man: No Way Home. So fucking killed it.
Awesome.
Colin Farrell actually wanted the Penguin to smoke cigars on screen as a character trait, but Warner Bros. Said no because kids will watch this movie.
Good
They
for
had-
them.
They had Arnold smoking as Mr. Freeze.
Yeah.
I mean, they
In
had
the what?
they had so much
90s?
violence.
97.
Yeah,
They had-
exactly.
They had so much fucking violence in this movie, and
Violence is still okay, but
I mean,
smoking causes cancer.
I violence is still okay, but smoking causes cancer.
Violence causes death.
100%. And obviously, like, don't do the things the bad guys are doing. Like, let them smoke a fucking cigar.
But the Batman is also causing violence, and he's the good guy.
That's
I don't know.
true.
I want the Batman with a cigarette dangling from his lip as he's punching bad guys.
I do too. Please. So I thought that was interesting, just because how violent and dark and everything the movie was. I'm just like, really, a cigar?
That's where we draw the line.
I think this is like young.
Wasn't there an underground
It's young.
club with prostitutes?
Yes, they were sex workers.
Right, they were
But-
sex workers.
Like, why can't we have a fucking cigar in the movie? Like, get the fuck out of here.
Sex
everyone-
is okay, but not
Everyone,
smoking.
Ranyah disagrees. She agrees with the ex-nay of the cigars. Falcone refers to Batman as Zorro, and many
Wait.
versions.
Was that Batman that he referred to as Zorro?
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know why I thought that was Gordon.
Why would Gordon be Zorro?
Because I thought he was arresting him and he said, "Whoa, Zorro, blah, blah."
I guess
what-
for the arrest.
Whoa.
For the
Yeah.
arrest. And then he was like, don't you know I own the police? And Gordon said,
Yeah, I can see
Well,
that, but no,
wait.
Zorro was a mass vigilante. So
no, I know.
yeah,
But
Antonio Banderas.
I thought it was in reference to I don't know. I thought it was just in reference to him saying like, "Don't you know I own the police?" And I thought Gordon responded something like, "Well, we're not all. I guess not all of us," or something like that.
Yeah. When he opens the door and all the cops are out.
Right,
there.
like right before he gets shot, basically. So I don't know why I thought I thought he was talking to Gordon, but maybe not.
No, he was talking to Batman.
But they were both walking him out, I guess.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
okay, maybe I'm just crazy. I don't know.
Apparently, in many of the versions of the Batman Origins, the Wayne family was leaving the theater of a showing of Zorro when they were murdered. And Zorro is acknowledged as by Bob Kane and Bill Finger as one of the main influences for Batman.
Oh, that's cool.
So the Antonio Banderas Zorro movies had to come out around 2001 when Thomas and Martha Wayne got shot.
And we did say that they died in 2001. So, were they watching Antonio Banderas in the movie theater?
They didn't die this time in the movie theater. Like, they have a totally different backstory.
Yeah, because they were heading to the police station.
Also came out in 1998. Couldn't even have worked. Damn it!
Was there a sequel? Was there a Zorro sequel?
There might have been.
It's not worth looking up.
So Colin Farrell could have already played the Penguin within the Batman universe. Back in 2002, before The Dark Knight came out, Wolfgang Peterson was supposed to get a Batman movie. And it was going to be a Batman versus Superman film where Jude Law was playing Superman. And
Ew.
Colin Farrell was going to play Batman. Sorry, Colin Farrell was going to play Batman and not the Penguin.
I feel like he'd make a good Batman, too. No?
2002 Colin Farrell, yeah.
Yeah.
But you don't think Jude Law would have been a good Superman?
No. And I like Jude Law. He doesn't have the size. Jude Law doesn't have the size to play Superman.
Okay. I've already mentioned the horror aspect of this movie with the car, and we talked about it a little bit. Another nod to old school horror movies was when the Riddler sits up in the backseat of the DA after the DA wipes fog off the window.
Oh my God.
It's a direct shot from the original Halloween 1978 movie with Michael Myers.
Yeah. That's what I...
Nice. Love horror films. You like
Okay.
horror movies?
I don't like horror movies, but I
Okay.
like true crime because I'm basic.
Sure. This film is 12 minutes longer than The Dark Knight Rises. The Dark Knight Rises was 12 minutes longer than The Dark Knight. And The Dark Knight was 12 minutes longer than Batman Begins.
This movie seems 45 minutes shorter than The Dark Knight Rises.
It seems 30 minutes shorter than The Dark Knight. It seems that like it's about as long as Batman Begins.
It is the quickest seeming 3-hour movie I've ever seen.
I agree.
It did go by really fast.
Yes.
I didn't even notice. I did feel like in the other movies that they lasted forever.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But this one
especially in The Dark Knight.
this one just had great transitions and kept me on the edge of my seat. Yeah, the entire time.
I was entertained the entire time. Was never bored.
Never.
At the end of the film, these last three bits of trivia are just for you.
Okay.
Yep.
It's messed up.
At the end of the film, Selena Kyle says she's going to Bloodhaven. Do you know what Bloodhaven is, Ranyah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Do you know BJ?
No.
Awesome. Again, this is for you. Ranyah, I'm glad you know. In the comics, Bloodhaven is Gotham's sister city that is under the protection of the original Robin Dick Grayson, now operating under the code name of Nightwing.
Oh. I thought it was some...
So Zoe Kravitz is going to hang out with Nightwing.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's going to get hot.
Yeah, it's going to get real hot. And you're a Nightwing fan.
I am a Nightwing fan, yeah.
Me too, because I hate Robin.
And you haven't seen the HBO Max?
Nope.
Oh, no? Okay.
Nope.
Oh, the guy that plays Jack Reacher's in that show.
You told me that. I'm excited. I'm going to watch it. Especially if it's violent, because, again, no violence. All the influences for this movie, Batman Year One, Clute from 1971. Influences from the plot were from Chinatown, All the President's Men. Influence for Batman's psychology came from the comic Batman Ego, The French Connection, The Silence of the Lambs, Seven.
Okay, I was going to say Seven's got to be in here.
The book The Mindhunter, comics Batman The Last Days, Batman The Long Halloween, Batman 0 Year. Matt Reeves wrote The Riddler based off of The Zodiac Killer.
Yeah, I remember.
I felt that,
yeah.
The ciphers and...
Yeah, I figured you'd be interested on all the different things they pulled from, especially with the whole Seven thing.
When's the French Connection podcast?
I don't know. I've never seen it. So whenever you're ready to have that connection.
You can't see
I
it.
You
can
guys
make-
are
I'm
so lame.
staring
I
at
know,
it.
so lame. And I love the name of this podcast because I can make so many stupid sexual jokes. And they're all dumb. And I love every one of them. The never released as a single and never a consistent part of the band's live set list, Nirvana's Something in the Way charted for the first time in August 2020 after appearing in the first trailer for The Batman. And the weeks after its theatrical release, the song has been reported a 1,200% increase in Spotify streams and climbed to number 2 in the U.S.
It's a great song.
Yeah. I put that bit of trivia because of how much you love that song.
Yeah, and Kurt Cobain preaching the pescatarian Bible. It's okay to eat fish because they don't have any feelings.
Those are all my trivia and facts.
I like them.
So many.
Is
So
it
many.
impersonation time?
It is impersonation time.
What are we doing this week?
The Riddler, which you already kind of teased.
Okay.
Really, Ranyah, the only thing you need to do is say Bruce Wayne as crazy as you can, like the Riddler did when he was in prison.
I don't know if I could do that.
That's okay. You don't have to do it first. We're going to start with BJ. He's notoriously awful at these, but he's never had a good one.
Oh, my Quigley one's good.
Yeah, your Quigley one's pretty good, actually. I stand corrected. He's had one good one.
Okay.
Bruce Wayne. Jacob. Ekas. Ranyah
Stop.
Lycka.
She just goes, stop. Love that.
Stop on your head.
Love that.
Okay.
Okay. Ranyah, you're next.
I have to say the same thing.
No,
you just have to do the Bruce Wayne. I always like
you
to.
just have to do the Bruce Wayne.
Bruce Wayne. No, I'm way off. Way off. I
That
can't.
sounded like it came out. That sounded like it came out of a stoner comedy.
No. That was Chubby.
What?
That was Chubby.
What's Chubby?
Oh, you don't want to know.
Chubby's her alter ego.
Oh, you have teased me about Juby. When you get drunk, right?
Yeah.
Yes. My girlfriend's alter ego is Nikita.
Nikita, that's funny.
Yeah. Okay. So it was very authentic, Ranyah's unhinged the Riddler impersonation.
Oh, I'm not good at impersonations.
That's okay.
That's why we do
That
this.
was I think that was better than BJ's Quickly Down Under. That was his best one so far.
Okay, I'll take that.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, your turn.
All right. Bruce Wayne. It's just me and you.
That's very Mark Hamill as the Joker.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
I liked it.
It's,
Thank you.
yeah, it's good Batman villainous. I think it's just a little more Mark
I
Hamill.
like
Mark Hamill
how you
Joker.
changed the tone there.
Yeah.
Because he gets super high pitched at some of those points.
Okay. Cool. Those were all pretty good. I like those.
Right.
I think that was the best impersonation of movies we've had so far.
No.
No, I meant all three.
Oh, okay.
The best impersonation we've had so far. Drew has an incredible Gilbert Godfrey impersonation.
Oh, I didn't hear that one, but
It was incredible.
It's good.
Yes.
all right.
And apparently I have a pretty good George Carlin one.
Your George Carlin was really good.
Yeah.
I could not get George Carlin.
Your George Carlin was really bad.
I could not get it.
I can't wait for your dad to listen to that episode so he can hear you do George Carlin.
He's gonna be disappointed.
He will be, in more ways than one. All right, final thoughts on the movie. I'll start since I was the true virgin. When I first got done, I didn't know if I wanted to give this movie a 6 or a 7. And I really, really liked it.
A 6 is rough. A 6 is a pretty average movie.
Which is why I didn't go with that score.
Okay.
Because it was way too good of a movie for 6. I couldn't put it at 8 for whatever reason. And like I've said throughout the podcast, I'm excited to rewatch it. I'm excited to show my girlfriend the Dark Knight trilogy. That way I can watch that again and like really see if Batman Begins is my favorite Batman movie. I love Bruce Wayne. And yeah, I give it a 7 out of 10. The next day I was just thinking about it. I was like, this can't be a 6. There's no way.
No.
This movie was way too good to be a 6. The movie honestly is probably too good to be a 7 in all honesty. And after talking about it and then thinking about it, getting ready for the podcast, like really the only thing I didn't like was the main villain being the Riddler, and even that was not as bad as I initially thought it was. So I can't wait to rewatch it.
Okay.
All right.
Ranyah?
Oh, I mean, I'd give it at least an 8.
At least an 8?
Yeah.
Okay.
I loved it.
Would you do 8.9?
Maybe.
Maybe.
There was so many lighthearted parts to it, even though it had horror aspects. It had like some funny parts, but I loved the action scenes. It just had like everything I wanted to see in a Batman. And it was so different. It wasn't what we've seen in a Batman. It was like a different experience after having so many different Batmans.
This is the first movie since our first pod with Jurassic Park that there were horror movie elements and comedic elements and action, and
Matt Reeves puts a little bit of everything into it.
He really did, and it worked really well.
I really felt like I had just a little bit of everything, but it did it so well.
And you know, he took a big risk. Making emo Batman.
Yeah.
That's a risk.
100%.
And he took it and he went all the way with it. He didn't half-ass anything. He went all the way with depressed Bruce Wayne.
Oh, yeah. He had full vision for that.
I had it at an 8.5, which is exactly what I have The Dark Knight at. And I have Batman Begins at about an 8.
Okay.
So I'm curious in the future what movie overtakes it as my favorite Batman movie, if it's The Dark Knight or if it's this one. Or
I think it'll be between this one or Batman Begins, because The Dark Knight, again, is amazing to me, but only when the Joker's on now.
That 40 minutes of boring of
downtime. There's a lot of downtime.
There's a lot of downtime in The Dark Knight. Yeah. There's not, at least from what I remember, there's not any downtime in Batman Begins. I enjoyed every minute of that movie. So I think it's going to come down between Batman Begins and the Dark Knight and the Batman. But because Heath Ledger is so fucking good, I'd say The Dark Knight is as good as Batman Begins and the Batman. I think we're all excited for this next movie.
Oh my god.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Excited for a sequel. That's not true. I can't say that without thinking about the sequels I've been excited for, but it's been a long time since I've been this excited for a sequel. It was such a grounded Batman movie. It had everything that I wanted, and there were things that it was missing that can make it better, and I think it will. I think they will in the second movie.
Don't make it 12 minutes longer than this movie.
I mean, you can make it 12 minutes longer if it runs the same kind of way this movie did.
Yeah, because does not.
Honestly, had I not read that trivia, I'd have thought this movie was just as long as Batman Begins.
I agree. It was definitely over 2 hours. It did not feel anywhere close to 3.
No.
It didn't.
Anything to make this movie better?
Let Jim Gordon solve at least one clue.
At least one.
Yeah. That would be nice. Yeah, to have a more competent... Because, I mean, Detective Gordon is eventually Commissioner Gordon, and he's, like, the best detective there is, you know? Like...
You don't become commissioner because someone else does your job for you.
Basically, what they're insinuating is that Commissioner Gordon becomes Commissioner Gordon because his partner died.
Yeah.
And he's got a relationship with Batman.
Right.
For me to make this movie better, me and BJ talked about it earlier today, give the Riddler more screen time. Like with catching the Commissioner and actually that death scene. And with the rat and everything. So I think it could have been more intense.
It could have been more intense.
Let me ask you one thing. Would you have preferred the Kevin Spacey in Seven treatment of Paul Dano as the Riddler?
You brought that up earlier, and after thinking about it, I don't think so. Because like we talked about in this podcast, the big reveal was the Riddler thought him and Batman were on the same team, and then to take it a step further, I'm actually blowing up the city and fucking up innocent people. I think if you didn't have those two other steps in the Riddler's character, that Seven treatment would have been ideal. But I think it worked out how it was.
And, Paul Dano's not near as popular as Kevin Spacey was at the time of Seven.
Yeah.
So, and I don't even know if you can do that today. So Seven, Kevin Spacey was probably a top 10 actor at the time.
Uh-huh.
He was not on the poster. He was not mentioned in any of the credits. Nobody knew he was in it. And 3/4 of the way through the movie, you're finally introduced to him.
Interesting. Yeah, I've never seen it.
It's on something right now. It's streaming. I mean, season 9 of The Office came out, 2014? And it was hard enough to make sure that you didn't know Steve Carell was in the last episode. And that was, however many years ago that was.
8.
Yep. Thank you, BJ. But there's not much they need to do to make this movie better.
No, just tweaks.
When you're already making this movie, you don't think that those things aren't going to land. Because I feel like everybody making this movie knew they were making a fucking banger.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, some of that stuff just didn't land. That's okay.
Yeah.
So
you're going to learn from this one, and the second one's going to be fucking better.
I'm excited
I
about
really
the
hope
second
so.
one.
Yeah. I'm excited, too.
Ranyah teased us a little bit earlier, saying she had someone else in mind when they announced Pattinson before she saw it.
I didn't have somebody specific in mind.
Oh, I thought you did. Because you were just like, he just isn't who I wanted. So I thought, maybe,
Well, he's just not what I would have expected. I just imagine...
Kind of like when Heath Ledger got the Joker part. It's just like nobody expected the guy from 10 Things I Hate About You and A Knight's Tale to be the fucking Joker.
And really, my only experience with Robert Pattinson is a Twilight trilogy.
I think that's most people.
I haven't seen that most recent one with him in it.
Good Time.
Yeah, Good Time.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But, I mean, he's grown a lot as an actor.
Yeah.
I thought he had so much more range.
100%.
I liked his emo. He does it well. But, I mean, he had angry. He had, sarcastic. He had a lot. So...
Is there anybody you think could have played Batman besides Robert
There's
Pattinson?
always somebody that could have played.
But who would you have liked to have seen? Anybody? Or are you content with how Robert Pattinson did after seeing it?
Yeah, I'm content with how he did it.
Okay. BJ?
Very content with how he did it. Liked his performance way more than I thought I would. I'm not sure who's playing. Maybe Miles Teller is the only one I can think of. A little more charming than Pattinson, obviously. I think Teller's got a good bat chin, and I think he can do the action stuff. So Miles Teller is probably at this moment the way I would lean towards.
I don't know anybody around the age range that could do what Matt Reeves needed done in this movie.
Oh yeah.
The only person I could think of maybe is I've grown to respect and like Channing Tatum so much over the past 3 or 4 years.
I love Channing Tatum.
Yeah,
but I feel like he's at this point too old to have played this.
I do too. Maybe you could have gotten away with it being trying to portray him as younger.
He can't play year 2 Batman.
I mean, I don't know. No. Hollywood does stupid shit sometimes.
Yeah.
But and that's what I'm saying. Is I don't really know anybody around that age range, and the only person I could come up with is Channing Tatum. So
I like Channing Tatum's bat chin.
Oh really? That's part of the reason I chose him.
Oh.
He's got a strong chin to me. But when Robert Pattinson was said to be Batman, I immediately was like, okay, whatever. I'm all about movies and actors and just different. I was like, yeah, dude, fuck it. Let's see how this goes. I was excited.
I was excited once I heard the story about when they asked him to gain weight.
Yeah.
And he just showed up. They're like, Matt Reeves was like, hey, you need to put on about 20 pounds of muscle in the next 5 or 6 months before we start filming. And then he shows up to filming, and Matt Reeves is like, did you put on any weight? And he's like, no.
I just like when directors and writers get who they want for the role they want. Because when you're reading a book, and you read this book, and you're introduced to this character, and you build this character up in your head. And you know what they look like, you know how they talk, you know who this person is. And so it's always really exciting for me when a writer, director, whatever, gets who they want for the role that they've written, because I'm just you saw something that I can't fucking see, so I'm excited.
Yeah, for sure.
So no matter who they put on the movie or whatever, I'm just I'm excited what you think you see, because I don't.
Oh, and when it's someone like Matt Reeves, it's you have my support.
Yes.
You know better than I do.
Yes.
That's why you're Matt Reeves and I'm doing a shitty podcast.
100%. 100%. Speaking of shitty podcasts, we like to read shitty reviews.
Yay!
At the end of this podcast. And by shitty reviews, I mean IMDb users. Because, guys, you people are the fucking worst. From your good reviews to your bad ones. Y'all, I love IMDb.
Keep it up, guys.
Keep it up, please. So we always start with good and end with bad. I'm really excited for these two reviews. Good one's titled, and it's a 9 out of 10 review. I try to go 10 out of 10, but this is 9. Titled, DC movies work best when they're not trying to be Marvel. It's a slow-paced, dark, and intriguing movie. We follow the Batman as he is trying to catch the Riddler, like a detective or a PI. It's a superhero movie with no superpowers, no goofy funny scene, no flashy special effects. This movie has its own tone and doesn't look like any other superhero movie, and that's exactly why it works. DC movies work best when they're not trying to be like Marvel. And forget everything you know about Robert Pattinson. He was made for this.
I agree with everything he said in that review.
I do too. DC needs to be more grounded. And when they are more grounded, they have better shit.
Yeah.
Peacemaker's DC.
I think Peacemaker's pretty grounded considering they were fighting a swarm of butterflies.
Yeah.
John Cena could die in that movie.
There's a character named Eagly.
I'm
There's
aware.
an eagle named Eagly.
That's his.
Yeah, that's
That's
just part of the
a side
universe.
No, Eagly's the best character in the show.
I know, but it's still a grounded show. Like Peacemaker almost dies multiple times through that show.
Yeah,
That's
I
true,
think
okay.
it's a very grounded show.
The only time I've ever been worried about a Marvel character dying is the last Wolverine movie with Hugh Jackman. And by that point in Wolverine's life, his healing powers have really, really weakened. And it's the only time I've ever been worried about a Marvel character. 1 out of 10 titled, I Want My Money Back. This is the worst movie I've ever seen since the Blair Witch Project. Thankfully, that wasn't 3 hours long like this horrible excuse for a Batman movie. The writer, director, and producers will hopefully never work again. Terrible music score, horrible acting, no plot other than white privilege, Batmobile looked like a junk car, and Batcycle was a regular motorcycle. Waste of time and money.
Oh, this guy sucks.
This guy's the fucking worst. First of all, one of the best scored movies I've ever watched.
It's a fantastic score to this movie.
Second of all, the writer and director are the same person. You have a comma between both things.
Yeah.
Like, know what you're talking about first off.
He didn't research this.
No. They're working together. Sorry, bub. They made over $700 million worldwide. They're working again.
And imagine watching this movie, which, okay, even if there's things you don't like about it, watching this movie and being like, this is the worst movie I've ever seen.
Should people watch this movie?
Oh my gosh, yes.
I agree.
Go watch this movie.
You have to watch this movie because you have to be ready for the second movie in the series.
Yes.
You haven't seen a Batman like this.
No. That's the best way to describe this movie, is you have not seen a Batman movie like this.
There's really not one.
I've never seen any animated shows. Like, maybe you could get close with an animated show. But that's what makes animated shows so cool and anime so cool, is just that you can do stuff with animation that you can't do in live action. And here you have it in this movie. You have to watch this movie.
It's really good. It's incredibly interesting. Obviously, there is a ton of stuff to talk about with this movie.
Yes. We could keep talking, but this is
For
ridiculous.
a long time. That's what I grew up with. Batman Beyond.
Batman Beyond.
Oh,
Okay.
Teenage
okay.
Batman, but it's not the original Batman. Real Batman, Bruce Wayne, is old.
Yes. Batman Beyond was a good one.
Yeah.
I've seen a couple episodes.
Do you know
here
who
and
plays Bruce Wayne in the Titans show on HBO?
there. Is it Batfleck?
Nope.
Who?
Jorah Mormont.
Nice. Fuck yeah.
And
That's
he's
fucking
so
cool.
funny, unintentionally funny.
That's
Funny.
fucking cool.
Yes.
Well, that was a good first time.
I enjoyed that first.
You know, it's not very often that I last an entire 3 hours, let alone my first time.
3 hours.
But I did this time, and it was incredible.
Here's to hoping you last 3 hours more often.
We'll see you next time. It was Ranyah, it was BJ, and it was me, Jacob.
American Ultra next week?
American Ultra next week. And we're going to give my lady a second chance because Ranyah killed it in this podcast.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.